love murder mysteries and police procedurals, and British ones are absolutely among my favorites. Now, I want to ask, are they your kind of movie? Is that why you decided to take on the role?
In yeah, McDonald Dodds. I mean, yeah. I mean, I've always enjoyed them. I've done a Poirot, and I've done a Midsummer Murders, and I've done one or two other single episodes of these things. And but I enjoy watching them, and I enjoy the kind of puzzle aspect of it. I think when it's done really well, it can be such a satisfying watch for viewers. It gives you a great story, and generally this genre, you know, there are over 2 hours, or there's an amount of time, so you've got time to appreciate the leading characters and also have time to marvel at the whodunit element and seeing all the other supporting characters. And so it's a very rich and satisfying view. So yeah, I've enjoyed them, and I enjoyed Poirot, and I enjoyed sort of other work of that genre. Yeah, so it was great to be asked to be in one.
Your character, DS Dodds, is really intriguing. I've been watching him carefully, and I'm trying to figure out who is he really. But since I have the privilege of talking to the actor who plays him, I thought I'd ask you, what is your take on him?
Well, I have to say, it was so lovely to play him on the page. He was such a well-written, well-rounded character. And, you know, he's such a fascinating character because he's been behind a desk for many years. For 10 years, 11 years, he's been beavering away, doing something quite, you know, he doesn't bang his own drum. He just very quietly gets on with his life. And he's not, at the moment, perhaps you could say, one version of life at the moment is that he who shouts loudest does best, with social media and all these kinds of things. And yet he's the opposite of that. He's just very quietly going about his work. But for some reason, he, in later life, feels he wants to do something and break out a little bit. So that's why he tries to get, you know, a job back as a detective, you know, as a working detective on the beat. So he's suddenly put himself in an amount of danger, in a way, out of his comfort zone, as a kind of midlife kind of, I've got to get out there.
The show is set in Bath, which I wasn't familiar with before. Is it actually filmed there?
It is. We film Bath and Bristol. Those two cities are in the west of the UK towards Wales. And Bristol is a large industrial port, really. And we have our base there with a couple of studios, but it is set in Bath, and all the locations are in Bath. And it's one of the most beautiful cities in the United Kingdom. It's very perhaps like some of the Italian cities, and it's got all the original stone, that beautiful golden honey-coloured Bath stone in Georgian Regency buildings, and there are the whole town is like that. You know, it's escaped the rigors of the Second World War and bombing, etc., and has been preserved almost. And it's a sort of jewel box in a way of our architectural history. So it's a wonderful backdrop on which to set the drama.
Are you based in London, and do you stay in Bath while you're filming?
Yeah, I live in London with my family, and we're all sort of they're getting into the bath now. But I wanted to do it tonight because it's good for you, and it just actually everything's calmed down a bit. So yeah, and it's funny because I quite like going away to work when I've got young children and older children. It's quite good to be away and concentrate. It's a luxury to have that. And my wife obviously she's got more to do with the kids on her way, but I can go away for the middle of the week and come back every weekend. So it's only a couple of hours away. So I prefer, so I can get there, concentrate, do the work, and come home.
I've heard that British people can tell where other British people are from from their accents.
Oh yeah.
So does that mean that when you're playing DS Dodds, because I mean, you had a totally different accent in The Crown, of course, because you were playing,
Yeah.
but as DS Dodds, do you have to put on a Bath accent?
Yeah, absolutely. And I did a lot of work on that. I mean, I won the accent award at RADA in our term, and I do enjoy the different accents in our country. Our country's got incredibly varied accents, as has Canada, and you know, obviously the French influence and American influence, and there's and Scottish as well. The Scottish influence on the Canadian accent is very interesting. So you know, stuff like that. So I mean, I could quite easily bore your listeners and you know your readers and viewers with the intricacies of accents, but yeah, a lot of North American sounds come from the west of the UK, which is where we used to speak more like that when you know America and Canada was you know created, and those people that came out from the UK often spoke with a kind of that sort of R, and that the R that you use in North America, that is from that part of the world. So it's Bath, you know, Bristol is different to Bath. Bath has got a slight, even though they're 15 miles away, they have a different twang. So it's really important to get it right, because if you're filming in a city where you're playing their accent, you're going to be bumping into a lot of people from Bath. So you better make sure you do it well.
Now I want to ask you, how many episodes have you filmed so far?
Well, we did 2 in the first series, so I think, and they're 2-hour films, and I think there was a great push really certainly with ITV, the network who commissioned it, Mammoth Screen, obviously the production company that made it, who are having a great, really brilliant purple patch in the work that they're creating from, you know, Poldark and Noughts and Crosses and all sorts of stuff that they're doing, Queen Victoria. So I think there's a push really to keep these shows kind of fresh. So we're now doing 3. So we're starting in 2 weeks' time. I'm going down to Bath to start shooting 3 hours in the next series. And, you know, we are looking ahead beyond that, but obviously one never knows. But I mean, I would love to play more of Dodds because I enjoy playing him so much. But for now, we're doing 3 more. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic news. I was going to ask you if there are going to be any more episodes. And also great that you're back at work. I want to ask you, I know you're so busy. Has the pandemic, was it a nice break for you, or were you itching to get back to work?
Both, actually. Yeah, I mean, at the start, I mean, my wife, Clara Francis, she's an actress as well. She's been working in the theatre in the West End in Tom Stoppard's recent play Leopoldstadt, which did brilliantly, but of course that is now in hiatus. So she stopped, and then I was filming in South Africa doing Around the World in 80 Days with David Tennant, and that again is in hiatus. I'm supposed to have been filming in Romania in May, so that obviously we don't know what's going on there. We're all sort of held in hiatus until that picks up again. So it was nice to have time with the kids. Homeschooling was a bit of a challenge, but it was nice to have a bit of time to be with the kids, yeah, and not have the responsibility of line learning. And but it was nice to read and look around and look at scripts and think about stuff. But but for someone like me, I'm lucky I've got a bit of money in the bank. But it's difficult knowing that a lot of your colleagues are really struggling. You know, as we've gone through the pandemic, it's become, particularly for freelancers as we are, particularly for theatre people, actors working in crews, working in the theatre, has become very critical and difficult. So yeah, I've enjoyed some of the time. I've done lots of charity work, done a few monologues. We did a scene from W1A, which I think you get in Canada. The BBC. We did a kind of a Zoom meeting of W1A. That was fun, written by John Morton, the writer, with Hugh Bonneville and all the regular team. So that was fun. But I'm very, very keen to get back to work now. And we had a meeting this morning with all our production team, and Tala Gavaya, who plays McDonald, and the new directors that we're having for the next series. We met them and our producer, Damien Timmer. So we had a really great Zoom meeting, and it got, you know, very exciting. The plots are fantastic for the next 3 episodes, and the actors we've got in are just so exciting.
You mentioned Around the World in 80 Days with David Tennant. Is that a mini-series? Because I saw on IMDb that you're in a mini-series with David Tennant called Des, and you play Brian.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing?
No, it's a separate project. It's a different project altogether, but I seem to be, I seem to be working with David a lot. I've worked with David, it must be about 6 or 7 times, weirdly. And we just happen to be working on 2 jobs back to back. So Des is a very dark piece, which is coming out in next month here in the UK. Des, about Dennis Nilsen, the serial killer. And I play the biographer of the book Killing for Company, which is about Dennis Nilsen. And it just follows the trial, the investigation and the lead up to the trial itself, and a great triangle between myself, his biographer, who got access to him pre the trial, which is very unusual. So I was writing a book, my character was writing a book pre the trial, and myself, David, and Danny Mays from Line of Duty fame and many other shows. He plays the detective. So there's this fantastic triangle. That's coming up. But Around the World in 80 Days is a big European co-production, which is going all over Europe, shooting all over Europe. And it's a very exciting project. But that obviously is in hiatus, and we hope that's going to come out. Who knows? But we'll hopefully resume filming towards the end of the year.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing all of that, plus new episodes of McDonald and Dodds. I enjoyed the first 2 very, very much. And thank you so much for taking time to talk to me today.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah.